The doors on a brand new fire station.
And it's still raining for some of us across the area. How long will this rain stick around, and is there more on the way? The latest coming up.
And Britain's new prime minister makes his first speech to the nation today.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Seneca's newest fire station is now open for business. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, a project nearly 8 years in the making is complete. Fire station number 1 is located at 124 Washington Avenue in Seneca. Chief Tyler Crow says in 2015, the Montgomery family donated the land for the project. And last year, the Eastern Shawnee Tribe of Oklahoma donated funds to help finish it. A donation that totaled $273,000. We're learning more about Monday's school shooting in St. Louis, where 2 people were killed and 7 more injured. The suspected gunman is also dead. Damon Arnold, with our St. Louis affiliate KMOV, has the latest.
We hear these gunshots and the windows just rattling, and we see people jumping out the windows and stuff.
Students describe chaos as the shooter, who authorities say was armed with a long gun, opened fire at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School.
The report of an active shooter in a high school.
Police say that call came in around 9:11 Monday morning. 4 minutes later, police say law enforcement arrived on the scene. By 9:23, they say officers engaged the suspect in a shootout, and by 9:25, he was dead.
I seen my friend have all blood on her hand, and it was like she seen the shooter, and the shooter came to her and said, "You ready to die?" No, I can't. I'm not.
Students were evacuated to a nearby grocery store parking lot where they reunited with their families. Police later identified the shooter as a 19-year-old who graduated from the high school just last year.
He lives in the 9,000 block of Pennsylvania with family members, and he has no prior criminal history.
People from across the St. Louis community gathered to mourn the victims Monday night, including Alexandria Bell and PE teacher Jean Kuchka, who died at the hospital.
It's kind of unreal to think that she's gone. Like, when I literally just saw her the other day, she was just the sweetest lady.
Officials didn't reveal how the gunman got into the building, but said school security and existing safety protocols helped delay his entry.
Our school had metal detectors, the doors stay locked, there's security guards all over the place, and somehow still this was able to happen.
Now this community just tries to figure out how to move forward and to be okay. Damon Arnold for CBS News, St. Louis.
The Kansas Association of Broadcasters held its annual awards last night in Manhattan. KOAM and our news staff were recognized with 2 awards. Our station website, KOAMnewsnow.com, earned first place in the 2022 Media Market Division. And the Best Weathercast honor goes to our very own Chief Meteorologist, Doug Heddy.
Well deserved in this case for both of them, and because we just have we have an incredible team here at KOAM, and those 2 getting some recognition for what they do best.
That's right. Congratulations.
Yeah, our website's pretty fantastic, and of course Doug does a great job with the forecast. I'm just lucky enough to be under his umbrella, if you will, so a very fortunate situation for me. And we've had some rain to talk about, which has been a very fortunate situation for the 4 states. We're still looking at some rain scattered throughout southwest Missouri for the time being. I wanted to show you just how expansive this system is. So you can see the spin with the low pressure system, and then it just goes all the way back from Chicago. In fact, all the way back down into the Gulf of Mexico. So a very expansive system, and maybe some severe weather later today in the southeast. Thankfully, nothing like that for us. Temperatures across the area, 50 in Neodesha and Parsons, 54 Oswego, 45 in Lamar. We got 46 degrees in Joplin right now, where well, the button didn't work, but that's okay. There we go. It's still raining in Joplin. You can see the dark skies there. And with that wind blowing out of the northwest at 12, feels like 41 degrees. And the trend will eventually start to cool back into the 40s later on throughout the day. And, of course, on the drought situation, we're waiting for this, of course, to update. It'll be several days before we see what this rainfall does for us. But this also isn't our only rainfall. So That's a good thing. As we go through the day, okay, so 55 was an early high. If we get some sunshine later, we may warm back up close to that. Otherwise, hovering around the 40s. The rain will clear out later this evening, and we'll drop back down to 44 under partly cloudy skies by 8 o'clock. We'll take a look at what our nighttime forecast holds, the week ahead, and additional rain chances, and Halloween here in just a few minutes.
I know a lot of people have weekend plans, so they'll be watching. All right, thanks, Chris. Midterm elections exactly 2 weeks away. There's a crucial debate tonight in a hotly contested Senate race in Pennsylvania that could determine the balance of power in the U.S. Senate. Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington, D.C.
In one of the most closely watched Senate races this season, Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz and Democratic Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman will face off tonight for their one and only debate. A new CBS News poll now considers the open Pennsylvania seat to be a virtual toss-up, with Fetterman clinging to a 2-point lead.
I'll keep us safe, cut your taxes, and protect our jobs.
The economy, inflation, and crime are the top issues voters in the Keystone State say they want to hear about, as well as a plan to lower gas prices.
Who wants to pay $4 for gas?
The CBS poll found voters more concerned with the issues over Fetterman's health. The candidate had a stroke in May and has tried to reassure voters he's fit for office.
Survived to be back, and that makes I'm going to fight for you all.
The Pennsylvania race is one of the contests that could help determine the balance of power in the U.S. Senate. And CBS polling also reveals likely voters have become more partisan compared to last month. In Florida, incumbent Governor Ron DeSantis and challenger Congressman Charlie Crist sparred in the one and only debate of their race. One of the most fiery moments occurred when Crist confronted DeSantis on speculation that he may run for president in 2024.
Why don't you look in the eyes of the people of the state of Florida and say to them, if you're reelected, you will serve a full 4-year term as governor? Yes or no?
Well, listen, I know that Charlie's interested in talking about 2024 and Joe Biden, but I just want to make things very, very clear. The only worn-out old donkey I'm looking to put out to pasture is Charlie Crist.
Polls show DeSantis leads Crist by double digits. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Well, in the face of growing pressure, sportswear giant Adidas announces it is ending its partnership with the rapper formerly known as Kanye West. It is the latest fallout from the superstar's recent anti-Semitic comments. The rapper, who now goes by Ye, has made a series of hateful and threatening remarks, including that he would go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. In a statement, Adidas said the company does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. The move comes as anti-Semitic incidents in the United States have nearly tripled over the last decade. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, Britain's newest prime minister talks about his vision for the country. And later, we're making sassy chicken street tacos in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Britain's new prime minister made his first speech to the nation this morning. Rishi Sunak is the first person of color to ever lead the government. And at 42 years old, he's the youngest premier in more than 2 centuries. Remy Inocencio is at the prime minister's office at 10 Downing Street with a look at some of the problems Sunak inherits.
The UK's new Prime Minister Rishi Sunak gave his statement of intent, his vision for his government, speaking to the flailing economy along with the fractured nature of his Conservative Party as well as his country. In his speech, he also said he would fix some of Liz Truss's mistakes, his predecessor.
This government will have integrity, professionalism, and accountability at every level.
Now, Mr. Sunak just came over from Buckingham Palace, where he had an audience with the King Charles III, making him the first prime minister to be invited by the new king to form a new government. This is officially called the kissing of hands, even though no hands are ever kissed these days. You might remember it was just 7 weeks ago, though, to the day, in fact, that now former Prime Minister Liz Truss performed the same ceremony with then Queen Elizabeth, and that was just 2 days before the monarch died. But now this country is looking ahead, and despite some celebrations, Sunak has a massive inbox of major issues waiting for him, the worst since the 1970s, it said, and he'll be leaning on his experience as the country's ex-finance minister. A new survey out today, for example, suggests this country has already fallen into recession. Inflation is at a 40-year high. Electricity prices are soaring because of Russia's war on Ukraine. And his own Conservative Party has been in an open civil war with itself between the right wing and the more right wing. He will need to unify them to push through policy, but there are already calls from his own colleagues to take him down. So his honeymoon will probably not last that long. Now, U.S. President Biden has called Sunak's rise to power as groundbreaking as the first British Asian in the role. But remember, the past two prime ministers for the United Kingdom both resigned in the span of just 7 weeks. So the very famous black door here at number 10 has also proven that it is also a very quickly revolving one. Rami Inocencio, CBS News, London.
Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today, we're showing you how you can make a trendy food truck favorite right at home. So be sure to stick around.
But first, rain continues to fall for some of us. How much rain did we get, and is there more on the way? The latest coming up. Well, we've been getting really good amounts of rain over the last roughly 24 hours now, and it's rain that we have desperately needed across the area. And for some of us, the rain continues to fall at this noon hour, as you can see on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. You can also look out west where the clouds just drop off as this system slowly continues to track on off to the north and east. But for some of us in southeast Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, we're still getting some rain. I wanted to show you. Now, earlier I said, look at the spin. You couldn't see it because I forgot that radar wasn't in motion. This one is. You can see the spin with the low pressure system, and just look at how expansive this system actually is. From the Great Lakes down into the Gulf of Mexico and across the southeast, they may be dealing with some severe weather later today. Thankfully, we didn't really get in on any severe action, but we have gotten a fair amount of rain. We are averaging anywhere from 1 to 3 inches in most cases. These orange spots right around Cassville and in parts of Ottawa County, 4.2 inches. And for Joplin, picked up so far, because it is still raining, so far in Joplin about 2.5 inches of rain. So again, much needed rain across the area. Joplin right now, 7th and Range Line, it's dark. The camera's covered in droplets because it continues to rain, and it is 46 degrees with the northwest wind at about 12 miles an hour, making it feel like 41 out there. Temperatures across the area are still on the chilly side. Now out west, where you're starting to see a little more sunshine and a little less rain now, we've got 51 Sedan, Yates Center, 50 in Neodesha, 52 in Chanute. But out here under the rain, save Miami and Grove. I know that these temperatures aren't exactly accurate. We've got 46 Carthage, 45 Lamar, 43 in Neosho. So a little bit cooler under the rain. And then, of course, we're all dealing with that north breeze. So, again, out west, they're starting to get out of the gusty winds. So these temperatures are on par with the air temperature, but feels like 45 in Pittsburgh, 39 in Lamar, and 38 in Carthage. Feels like 35 in Mount Vernon at the noon hour. And so here again, you can see right where that cutoff point is, because right now in Yates Center, it's only a degree cooler now than it was 24 hours ago. But you get back where the rain and cloud cover is, and we're still 20, 25 degrees cooler now than we were 24 hours ago. And you can see where the temperatures have spent most of the day just kind of hovering right around the 40s all afternoon, or all morning rather. Not a lot of warming to go through, except out west again, where they're starting to see the clouds clear. All right, 55 was an early day high. Now again, like in places like Pittsburgh, Joplin, if we get some clearing a little earlier, we may return close to that this afternoon. Otherwise, hovering in the 40s. Rain showers should clear out by this evening, leaving us with partly cloudy skies and 44 by 8. And as we head into tonight, it gets downright chilly. Mostly clear skies, 40 degrees. Because of those mostly clear skies, any heating we do get is going to be gone. This system moves on out of here, and then we look toward this weekend where we have more cloud cover and more scattered shower chances, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Sunday by 2:30, you can see a few more widespread showers across the area, maybe even hanging into early Monday morning. So again, not that anyone's complaining about the rain. So let's talk about the next couple of days. We get clear, we get warm, 60s, holding on to the 60s through the weekend with those scattered rain chances, not a complete washout like we've seen over the last day and a half. And then we get to Halloween. It actually looks pretty good. 66, partly cloudy, 57 the low, so good trick-or-treating weather. Warming up into Tuesday, and then you can see by the middle of next week, what is that? it's more shower and thunderstorm chances. So we are finally doing two things. We're settling into a more fall-like pattern in terms of the temperatures, and two, we're getting a few more rain chances in there. So hopefully we'll start to see changes on that drought tracker. I'm not expecting drastic changes, but hopefully we can see some of that start to ease up a bit because we need this rain.
Yep, we definitely do. But it's been nice getting what we have, for sure.
Yeah, it has. And of course, for trunk or treat plans, anything you've got going on this weekend, these are going to be scattered showers, so not like we've seen where it's just been 24 hours straight of rain. But just do be prepared. Bring an umbrella and be prepared for maybe an isolated shower or two this weekend.
All right, thanks, Chris. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Staff Sergeant Jared Page in the U.S. Air Force. The Grove, Oklahoma native joined the military in 1999. He served in Korea, Guam, and Iceland, and during his career, earning a number of honors, among them the Air Force Longevity Service Award with Bronze, Oak, and Bronze Star clusters. To Staff Sergeant Jared Page, we thank you, our four-state hero. Today we're celebrating Taco Tuesday, and these tacos are anything but basic. Howard shows us how to make his sassy chicken street tacos in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Many of us grew up eating basic tacos. Well, those are great. I want to introduce you to a trendier version of them that's inspired by the food truck craze. They're called street tacos, and there's about 100 different ways to make them. They're usually made with small, soft corn or flour tortillas that are stuffed with all sorts of fillings. And since they're smaller, they're easier to eat on the go. For our quick version, we start by cutting up half a pineapple and placing most of it in a blender. The rest we'll set aside for later. To that, we add some canned chipotle peppers, lime juice, a bit of vinegar, and a bunch of south of the border spices. After this is blended, we pour it into a skillet along with some beer and chopped red onion. Once it's hot, we'll stir in some rotisserie chicken that we've shredded up. Then all that's left to do is build our tacos. We do this by spooning our chicken filling onto some warm tortilla shells and topping them with some chopped onion, the pineapple chunks that we set aside, and some crumbled goat cheese. To get the recipe for our sassy chicken street tacos, simply head over to our website. I'm Howard with Senorita Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a street-worthy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, here's a look at our four-state market prices.
We'll clear out, be nice Wednesday and Thursday, some additional showers this weekend, and then we got a pretty decent Halloween lined up for us.
What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, health experts issue a warning for the entire country. They're worried about a possible triple-demic that could unfold this winter. Cases of COVID-19, flu, and RSV, a virus that's been impacting children, are all expected to rise. Plus, Pittsburgh commissioners will decide on making a Pittsburgh Arts District to highlight all the art around town. We'll explain what that could mean for businesses in the district. And voters in Diamond, Missouri will decide on a $4.5 million bond to improve water and wastewater. Join us for those stories, a lot more. KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.